Good evening, everybody. This is Sean Copeland. Today is August 18th, 2024, and welcome to another brand new, life-changing edition of the 94X Kingdom-Driven CEO. Oh, what a great crowd. I'm so glad you guys are with us today. And what I want to share with you is a teaching that I shared probably 3 years ago, but I am going back and reviewing it, and I thought it might make sense for me to share it with you on here. Many of you are probably like, school is starting back, your lives are getting much more chaotic in the fall, and so the question is, how do we keep our priorities straight? And there are times when time management just does not do the trick. No matter how efficient you are and how well you prioritize and how well you use your planner and all of the time management tips, it is just basically impossible to keep all of the plates spinning, and that is where the priority promise comes in. Now, before I jump into this teaching, I do want to apologize to you all. Normally, we try to get our podcast episode out on Saturday morning, but I was in Springfield and had some major phone challenges, and so I had to get a new phone, and it took me a while to get everything uploaded and back with you. So please forgive me for being a day late, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think it is a game changer. There is a famous quote by Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, most of us spend too much time on what is urgent and not enough time on what is important. And what really made all this click with me was my grandma Charlotte. I just came from visiting her this afternoon. We had a wonderful chat. And about probably 3 years ago, my grandma had asked my sister she was down for lunch after church one day, what happened to my invisible grandson? Well, she was talking about me, and that just killed me because I love my grandmother. She is precious. We are best buddies. We're just alike. We talk about politics and sports and just life in general, and she is the coolest of cool, and I love spending time with her. But what was happening to me is I would think about her all the time, but every time I would think about calling her or going down to see her, something would get in the way. And what happened is I ended up just completely leaving her out of my life. I allowed things that were more urgent, busier, to take over, and it killed me whenever my sister said that. So it made me rethink how I prioritize my life. I was sitting down with a good friend of mine, Steve Green, who was also our pastor at the time and the dean of the business school at ORU. And Steve shared the basics of this. I have added to it over the years, but he basically shared the basics of this process. And so I'm excited to share it with you. And I want you to think about this. So Sean Copeland before the Priority Promise. Super great resume. I looked very, very successful. I was a pleaser. I always said yes to everything and then thought I would figure it out later. I would work early mornings and late nights. What I ended up with, though, was superficial relationships because I never had time to spend with anybody. I had an enormously long to-do list with very little progress. I had no time to call family or friends, and frankly, very little joy in my life. It was very difficult. So what I started to develop after visiting with Dr. Green was a life management system called the Priority Promise. And I actually have a book called The Priority Promise. If you're ever interested, it's on Audible. You can listen to it or you can order it on Amazon. And it talks to us about prioritizing our life, living our priorities, and having accountability as such. Now, let me kind of explain how the Priority Promise works. The Priority Promise makes you think about your life in a different way, okay? You think about your life in terms of roles. And we all play many, many roles in our life. Some of them are very clear, okay? So husband, father, brother, son, grandfather, very clear. CEO of the bank, very clear. Sunday school teacher, journey group leader, board member of various organizations, little league coach. Some of those seem very clear. However, let me clarify something for you. So when I say that I am the CEO, that is a title that is made up of actually many roles. So within the CEO role, I may have business developer, manager, visionary, investor relations, chairman of the board. There's a lot, community relations. There are a lot of roles within the CEO title. CEO is not actually a role. So what you want to do with the priority promise is the first thing you have to do is stop and take time and list out all of your roles. Okay, think about anything in your life where others are dependent upon you. This also includes you being dependent upon you for good health. So include in your role certain self-help or self-improvement activities, including exercise, eating right, getting plenty of sleep, any hobbies that you need. Like if you need 4 hours on the golf course each week to be happy, then you need to build in playing golf as one of your roles. Or if you like to walk or you like to jog or whatever the case may be, all of these are roles. Then what you're going to do is once you've listed every role you can think of, church member, civic club member, parent, PTA officer. Think of everything that you are doing in your life, and I promise you, there are many roles, and then you're going to prioritize those into A, B, and C categories. A meaning if you are not successful in that role, then it is catastrophic. Your life falls apart. So if I am not successful in the management role at work, or the husband role at home, or the father role at home, those are catastrophic. If all of my team leaves me at the bank because I'm doing a poor job of being a leader or manager to them, or if Angela leaves me because I'm doing a poor job of being a husband, or I don't have a relationship with the kids because I am not a good father, those are catastrophic. You may also include things like, leadership role in the church. There may be other roles within your job that are absolutely critical. Board development or board relations is probably another one of those for me. So those are your A categories. Your B category is a role that is important, but not catastrophic. Okay, so that might be certain roles that I have at the bank. Business development is important, but not catastrophic. Investor relations is important, but not catastrophic. Those are things that, relationship with my close friends is important, but probably not catastrophic. And then C are those categories that they are good, but they are not really important in your day-to-day life. This can include nonprofit organizations that you were involved in. It could include things that you were doing within the community, things that are good, but honestly, if you weren't doing those, it wouldn't have a drastic impact on your life. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, once you've listed your roles and prioritized them into an A, B, and C category, I want you to, this is the tough part, I want you to go through each role, start at the top with the A roles, and list how many hours or minutes that it takes to satisfy that role on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So let's use my grandmother as an example. So Grandma Charlotte, I know there's only so much time that I can allocate with my grandma. I want to be a good grandson. And so I visited with her and said, hey, what do you think would be a good amount of time for us to spend together? And so what we ended up with is every other week for 2 hours, I go down there and visit. And sometimes it's longer, but at least 2 hours every other week. She is satisfied. I am satisfied. I don't feel guilty anymore about that relationship. Same thing, with your husband or wife. Same thing with your kids. And this is not just time all together. This is time with them individually, okay? What does it take to build that relationship with each? For my daughter who's in college, it's probably 2 conversations a week, around 15 minutes each, and she's happy because she's over in college. But for my son, when he's here at home, it's probably more like 5 or 6 hours a week because we're playing ball together, doing a lot of things together that are important to him. So that will be impacted by each individual role, and how you satisfy the role is you are meeting the expectations of the other person that you are impacting in this particular role. So for board relations within the bank, I need to spend enough time for the board to feel heard, to feel updated, and making sure that my relationship with them is very, very strong. So go through each role, allocate an amount of time to satisfy each role, and then you are going to place this time on your calendar. So if it's a weekly requirement, go in each week and find a time and place it on your calendar right now. If it's monthly, same thing. If it's annual, same thing. What you are going to find when you go through and find out how much time it takes to succeed in each role, you're going to find you don't have enough time. I guarantee it. You're going to have too many roles, not enough time, and then you're going to have to go back and purge some of your involvement. Because what happens is we tend to have certain dominant roles which take over our entire life, work, certain roles within our work, while other roles like friends, extended family, that type of thing, sometimes leadership roles, take a back seat because they're not as urgent as our work can be. So then you're going to peel those back until it fits into your schedule, and that may probably mean doing away with some of your C roles and maybe even some of your B roles. And then what you're going to do is on a weekly basis, every Sunday night is when I do it, you want to go into each A role, your most important, most critical roles, and set some type of a weekly activity that will improve your performance in that role. So maybe it is, things like, on the family front, I was trying to find this. It might be taking Angela to lunch. Taking your wife to lunch, sending flowers, just sending a text, letting her know how much she means to you. For your kids, it might mean you're going to do one date night per month with or one each week, maybe with a different child. We have 3. So, every week trying to do something with each one of them. For you, the important role of you taking care of yourself, how much exercise or sleep are you needing to get? Those are the types of things that are most important. Mom and sister, maybe it's a lunch per month or one Sunday brunch. For my dad, it might be going down and helping out on the farm. These are for your A roles, whatever your A roles are, picking one thing, each week or each month that would be the most important to move those along. So then once you've done that, and you've make sure that you satisfy your key stakeholders, you have to reduce or eliminate roles if they do not fit into your schedule. Okay, and that is most likely going to be the case. You'll need an accountability partner. The last thing I think I would leave you with is it's important to have an accountability partner whenever you are trying to develop your priority promise plan. And so I have a friend that on a weekly basis, we share with each other kind of what are we going to do each week for our most important roles. And we talk briefly about how we are doing with our roles in general. Are there roles we are forgetting? Are there things that we are completely out of balance on? And so we help each other be accountable. You don't want any yes men. You want to teach them the priority promise. On Sunday, email all your goals for the week, and then Friday, have a quick call to report the results. So after the priority promise, here's what my life looks like. I am still a pleaser. I still want everybody to be happy, no question about it. But I make sure my commitments fit into my schedule. I don't have to work as early or as late. I still would look successful, but I'm just more transparent and open and honest. I have to apologize less to my wife and to my children. I view being overwhelmed now as a weakness. I used to view it as a badge, but that is just a sign that we don't have it all together, and I feel much, much less distracted. I have deeper relationships. I have a smaller daily to-do list based just on that day's roles. I call family and friends more often to stay in touch with them, and I just feel much, much more caught up. There is a quote by Mahatma Gandhi that says, "Action expresses priorities." And clearly, God is calling us to do first things first. We know what is most important in our life. It truly should be God, family, and then work. The problem is we often get those exactly backwards because we are living in the urgent and not the important. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of the 94X Kingdom Driven CEO.